Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode in our series, episode 5, with, of course, your host, Keelloo. So, we're going to be talking about these three topics today. Kind of my general life. Nothing too personal, of course, but just kind of getting an idea of what my life is sort of like. Two seasons, like the four seasons. I know that one seems kind of out there, but give me, trust me, I can get some decent conversation on this one. And three, one that I've been really wanting to talk about, Sakura no Uta, which is a visual novel that I've brung up quite a few times in various videos. So without further ado, let's get started. So number one, my general life. I'm gonna mention just kind of three general areas in this field, and I'll bring them up as I talk about them. So, one, my family. This one's kind of hard because I don't dislike my family entirely, but as you get older, you start to realize that your family really wasn't what you thought it was when you were younger. You start to, acknowledge that they're flawed people as well. That they're not, these beacons of hope or whatever you want to call it. And it gets hard to look up to them anymore. And that's kind of my situation with my family. My parents argue a lot. My siblings have issues that are probably worse than mine. Um, it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I hate it. I hate listening to it. I hate having to worry about it. I hate having to listen to them worry about it. But I just feel so much more safe when they're not here. Like when they go out of town or something. So that's a hard situation to deal with. Again, not that I completely hate them or anything, because I don't. I don't. They've done a lot of good things for me. But I'm starting to realize that, hey, they're just not what I used to think they were. Maybe that's, them getting older. Maybe it's me getting older. It's a really weird situation. My God. All right. The next part of this topic is my personal situation, which I've mentioned briefly in other episodes, but uh, my personal situation. I am currently kind of a just lush, is the only word I can come up with. I do work on occasion. It's just nothing sustainable. I don't have an actual job. I've been looking for one, sort of, and not having a whole lot of luck. So that's partially what's led me to this kind of lifestyle is that, I haven't been in school for a long time and I can't find a job and the work that I do is, it's not terrible work, but it's not like real work. And I worry that my parents are like thinking, you know, yeah, you're working, but you're not really working. I worry so much about that. I guess to put this into, you know, a condensed kind of explanation. Uh, we have a really rocky and tenuous situation in our family right now, which obviously I'm not going to get too personal with because that's personal, but I find it really hard to even approach my parents about much of anything because I'm not sure how they'll react. But yeah, as I've also mentioned, I'm going back to college in the fall. Um, I'm trying to find a job, but it's not going very well. So, lush life it is for the time being. Things have just changed a lot. Um, I used to be the kind of person who would go to bed at, a really decent time and get up pretty early. Now it's kind of just been flipped. I go to bed at 3, 4 a.m. and get up at what? Frequently throughout the day. And then finally fully get up at 3:30 p.m. And then the cycle repeats. So I'm turning into my brother theoretically because that's kind of the life he lives when he's not at college. So it's just, there's been a lot of changes. Not necessarily like actual meaningful changes, but in general, the way I've lived has changed. Not that that's all bad, but for the most part, I really wish it could go back to the old style. But I'm not sure if that actually will ever happen again because I may have to accept that just, for example, I'm a night owl. Where before I thought, no, there's no way I'm a night owl. But clearly that's working out better for me now. That may be due to alcohol or whatever, but that's just kind of how it is right now. So, um, trying to think if there's anything else that I want to touch on, but I don't think there's. I don't want this to be, the main topic of this chat. So I'm just going to move on to topic number 2, which, as I said, is the seasons. So this one's a bit more of a lighter topic, the 4 seasons. Um, you know, winter, spring, fall, winter, God, winter, spring, summer, fall. Um, Personally, I'm a fan of fall. I think fall is the best season for a number of reasons. Um, the trees look fantastic. Well, okay, let me just back up real quick. I'm talking about here where I live, where the 4 seasons are noticeable in change. Like it's not the same kind of aesthetic outside as every other season is. Because I know some places in the U.S. are like that. I live in an area where we have a lot of deciduous trees and all that, and the temperature where the area, the latitude, longitude, allows us to have a noticeable change in seasons. So, like I was saying, fall is my favorite because I love seeing the trees turn different colors. The red leaves and the brown leaves and all that, and the temperature, at least here, is extremely temperate. I'm talking once you get past September, which has this reputation here for being really hot sometimes in the stupidest ways. Like it's not August anymore. It shouldn't be this warm. But September is kind of a bitchy month. But once you get to the end of that and into October, it really starts to get pleasant. Like my favorite temperature, which is like 50 to, I want to say 50 to 70 is a good range, I'll say. I don't like super hot temperatures or cold temperatures, which I'm sure is really, really common, but I extremely despise both. Like, I can't tolerate either at all. So let's move on to the other seasons. Let's go with summer right now because summer is kind of coming up. The actual summer solstice and whatever. So summer sucks ass in my opinion. It's hot, it's humid, it's just got so many flaws to it. Here in my location, which I'm not going to disclose, my God, disclose. At the peak of summer, it gets to around 90, 95. Even if it's extreme, it can get up to 100, which, in and of itself is awful, but when it's also humid, makes everything outside terrible. Like, there's no reason why I would ever want to be outside in 90 plus humid weather. I can tolerate that at lower temperatures, like if it is, like, maybe it's just rain or something. That's okay. That's tolerable. But when it's the super high temps, no, I'm not gonna go do anything outside. I'm sorry. So for the really hotter places in the U.S., I cannot fathom how you can deal with these temperatures. You guys are real troopers. Though it kind of varies. I mean, like, for example, in Arizona, it's extremely hot, but it's dry, which is a completely different story from something like Florida, where it's incredibly hot. Not as hot, but it's fucking humid. So both of those are not fun, but they are distinct. There is a distinct difference between those two kind of temperatures and living conditions. Anyway, spring. Okay, spring's next. Spring is, I'm not sure how I feel about spring because at some points I've thought that spring was better than fall. But then I came to realize that spring is like bipolar. You can't expect anything. All you can expect is it's going to be slightly warmer than it was in winter. I mean, it's rainy, it's humid, it's, there may be snow in like March or even April. You don't know. So I've come to kind of not really like spring. It's okay when things go right. Like when, the temperature actually does gradually increase and, trees do bud and there isn't any bipolar weather like snow. Unfortunately, like this year, for example, it's been like that here, which kind of put me off from spring. You know, I can't stand, the snow, the slush, and the random weather events that just shouldn't be happening. Whereas in summer, it's kind of, static. You know what to expect. Like, it's gonna be hot every day, but there's not gonna be any snow or shit like that. And at least here, there's not a whole lot of rain in the summer. And the final one, winter. Oh god, winter. I used to be somebody who thought that the cold was better than the heat, and now I'm not so sure. But winter can be brutal. As I mentioned just like a minute ago, I hate snow. I absolutely despise snow, largely because I have to drive, and when there's snow, there's a lot of slush, there's a lot of you know, shoveled roads, there's a lot of really terrible drivers. So dealing with that is just the worst thing about the seasons. I hate summer, for example, because it's hot, like I said, but winter is just why? How can anybody like this? And especially when I've driven places like college, when you have all these college kids driving in here, and you have to walk from building to building to get to class, and it's just like, fuck this. Not even warm clothing or a hat will help. Because I've tried everything. And obviously it's just, it's winter. I think the only positive thing about winter is Christmas. I like Christmas. Maybe we'll talk about holidays in a different episode, but Christmas is nice. A white Christmas is nice, but anything other than that one day is just, can we not? Can we just have, even if it's cold, can we just have decent weather? Like have the sun out, or no snow, or anything that can not make me miserable driving to college or wherever. But sadly, that's not the case. So yeah, to sum up, like I said, fall is my favorite season. I guess summer would be my second, and then spring, and then winter. They kind of used to be the opposite, like I mentioned. But I can't stand the cold anymore. I can't really tolerate bipolar weather, and heat is hard for me to tolerate as well. So fall is nice. So I'll put that on the leaving note, and let's move on to our last topic, which is the visual novel Sakura no Uta. And again, as I mentioned in a couple previous videos, I know I've talked about visual novels in general, but I want to talk about Sakura no Uta because this is one that's been kind of a big deal for me. I first kind of discovered what Sakura no Uta was after seeing on Osu, the player age of 225, do this really crazy, crazy play with double time on this Sakura no Uta, which is also the name of the opening song, ironically. After I saw this, I fell in love with the song. And then this prompted me to kind of look into it. Like, where did this come from? Is this worth looking into? And what I found was that Sakura no Uta is, uh, I hesitate to say cult classic, but it's like the equivalent of that for Japanese visual novels that are untranslated. Um, it's something that not a ton of people are super aware about, but it has unanimously positive reviews. Like, I've never seen anything negative about Sakura no Uta. So, it's been one of the visual novels that I've been hoping to read for a really, really long time. But it's extremely long, and that's the issue. Um, that and what I just mentioned about how it's kind of not super well known. So companies aren't going to pick something up that has both dubious popularity and extremely long stories because time and questionable, you know, sales stuff. So nobody's really gonna pick this up ever. I don't have a very good feeling about anyone else picking this up. Its prequel got picked up, which I'm just gonna refer to as Down the Rabbit Hole, which I don't really recommend going into because that is a really fucked up VN, even though it's good. Uh, it's kind of uncomparable to Sakura no Uta. Sakura no Uta may be kind of, you know, it has vile dialogue and all that shit, but it's not fucked up in the way its prequel. It's a, you know, prequel probably isn't even the right word, but the game that came before it, that was written by the same guy, blah blah blah. I'm not really sure why I'm so fascinated with Sakura no Uta. Uh, I love its art. I love Magura's art. I love pretty much every song that's come out from it. Like Sakura no Uta, the main song, Bright Pain, Zyprescent, um, and pretty much everything else. Like, it's crazy how good the music, the ending, the endings for the girls are in this game. Yeah. Plus, I bought a few Sakura no Uta items that are, I guess I wouldn't say super rare. I actually own the game, but of course I can't play it because I can't read fluent Japanese. And I've got the this really big tapestry of two of the characters, Rin and this one I can't fully remember. I want to say her name is Saki, but that's probably wrong. Anyway, yeah, I would love for Sakura no Uta to be translated. It's supposed to be one of the most underrated visual novels you can possibly play. And it looks beautiful. Um, I actually owned the demo disc from, because way back, Sakura no Uta was just a demo. Like, I'm talking 2008, I want to say. Back when it was just first kind of getting in development. So obviously its origins are old as hell. Uh, but I used to own that disc because it came with the Sakura no Uta art book that I do own. But I shipped that disc to a friend overseas, so I no longer own that, which I'm fine with because I actually have the actual game. But that kind of gave me an insight into, what actually does Sakura Uta in terms of in terms of technical level. The comparison I'm talking about. I mean, because, I look at this and I see, wow. So this is what it used to look like. And then I see some gameplay stuff on YouTube, for example, and it looks gorgeous. Like, and then you can see this huge advancement in what visual novels have come to be. Great animation, great looking everything, the music, uh, the character models, whatever. Alright, I guess I really don't have much to say here about this. Because as usual, I like to keep these videos to under half an hour. So I think I'm going to close out here. Kind of a weird video, in my opinion. Weird topics. But yeah, as usual, I hope this was interesting. And I will see you in the next episode. Sayonara from yours truly, Keelloo.